Rev up your engines!
Hey, Guru says, would you do TV or radio again? No, because they're too tied in with their sponsors and their advertising. Look around here. You don't see any sponsors because I'm only sponsored by the truth. And yes, I do make money do this. It's Google advertising. Google does shotgun ads on my videos. They run ads, just open-ended ads. I have nothing to do with which ones run. I do make money that way, but I don't have anything to do with the ads. You see, I say good things about companies. I say bad things about the same companies if they make mistakes. On TV and radio, they are so tied in with their advertisers. When I used to do TV, they flat out told me there's some things I couldn't talk about because they had sponsors that sold those cars. So now, no, anything goes. If somebody makes something good, I'll talk about it. If they make it bad, I'll talk about it. And as a mechanic, since I still do it for 51 years and I'm still wrenching, I see what's good and what's bad, which tools work, which tools don't. And it changes all the time. And I have to keep up with that stuff. And on TV and radio, no. I mean, this is so cool that here I am live on YouTube and anybody in the world with a phone can ask me a question. Well, I guess the Chinese can't because they ban YouTube there, but anybody in the free world can ask me questions and get an honest response. I think that's cool as can be, and you can't beat that. I'm not tied into the advertisers, so I can tell the truth, and there's not that many people that can say that these days. Joe Ben says, Scotty, what do you think about the Skyactiv Mazda engines, Mazda CX-5? I'm not a fan. And I'm not a fan because I fix those things for a living. And very often, I see customers that'll buy one used. I had a customer buy one used last year and had like 110,000 miles. And they thought, oh, what a deal. I only paid $4,000 for it. About a month later, they brought it to me, and I said, the engine's going to have to rebuild. Timing chain's coming apart. You want to buy one brand new and keep it for 100,000 miles or so, you might not have very many problems at all. But they're not the type of vehicle that you should ever buy used unless you get them dirt cheap. I mean, I get customers that buy them dirt cheap, and some of them buy them for $1,000, maybe $1,500. And if they get a year, 2 or 3 out of them, they're making out like gangbusters. But you don't want to buy one used with over 100,000 miles and think you're going to get it long before you have to put some serious money into it most of the time. Well, Funny asks, when I start my engine cranks and starts only on the 4th to 6th try, what could it be? Well, that often happens as cars age. If the spark plugs are a little worn, if the air filter's clogged, fuel filter's clogged, it can do that. So of course you want to change all the stuff that you would in a tune-up, spark plugs, air filter, fuel filter. If it's not that, then a lot of times it's normally the fuel pump is getting weak, and you could have a mechanic check it with a gauge if you don't have a gauge when it's cold, and to see whether the pressure is right when it's cold. And if it isn't right, generally the pump going out, you need a new pump. Now if the pressure's okay, it can be dirty fuel injectors. I got a video how to clean fuel injectors without removal, and you might try having the fuel injectors cleaned next if all the other things didn't cause it. Those are the most common things. Velociraptor says, Scotty, I got an '05 Lexus GS 300, 146,000 miles. It vibrates at high speeds and gets worse the faster I go. What could be the problem? Anytime you get vibrations in a car, go to any front-end alignment shop and have them check the balance on your tires. It can be as simple as your tires are out of balance, or if the wheels are bent and that makes them out of balance, they can check all that stuff really quickly. And a lot of times that's all it is. Now, if it isn't that, it can get complicated. Bad ball joints, bad tie rods, worn drive shafts that spin and start to wobble at higher speeds. But always start with the simple, obvious things. And I mean, if you want to check stuff yourself, heck, jack it up in the air and pull on the wheels. Pull on them at 3 and 9 o'clock and pull on at 6 and midnight. You get wobbly and then see, oh, maybe it's a ball joint. And you can see it wobble, or a tie rod and you can see it wobble. Do the obvious things first, and if you can't figure it out, then go to a good front-end shop and have them check the balance of the tires and the alignment first. Everett York says, hey, Scotty, what do you think about switching out the transmission oil pan for one that has a plug in those sealed transmissions? I think it'll help doing drain and fill. If you want it, that would be, if you can find a company that makes them, go right ahead. That's a very smart thing to do. What you can do is you just drain it out there, measure exactly what came out, and put the same amount back in. It makes it so much easier. But of course, they're not making it that way because they want to rip you off. They want to make it so you pretty much have to go to the dealership. Somebody who wants to do all the ridiculous things. Some of those things take an hour, hour and a half. You got to road test them, check it, and then you got to add a little bit more, check it. And some of them have computer sensors. You got to have a machine to read those sensors. But if you had a pan with a drain, you could just drain it, fill it back up, put in exactly what came out. Abood123 says, Scotty, what about Opel Kadett? The first car I ever owned was an Opel Kadett. I paid $500 for it because some kid was on the used car lot spinning, and he slid out in his Jeep and he ran into it and bashed it in. So I got it for $500 and I had to fix the bodywork on it. They were fun cars. It was a very basic car. It had all of 59 horsepower. You know, couldn't get out of its own way, but it lasted a long time. I drove it all over the place. Sold it for $50 less than I paid for it, like 5 years later too. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.